A lot of error today. Yeah, okay. So now we are on YouTube and we can start. Good evening, YouTube. We are here for another English immersion. The topic of today is about hobbies, but before that, I want to explain a little bit about the platform so you can understand how this works, okay? So, Talk and Talk, it's a conversation platform for beginner, intermediate, or advanced speakers, and the conversation sessions are for all levels, so that's not important at all, your English level or your language level. The conversations like that, they are for all levels. The main point here that is not a regular class, and we are not here to teach you anything directly, but you will learn by practice in a real environment. And a reminder, I'm not an English teacher, I'm not a Spanish teacher or a language teacher at all. And the main point is about you that you will develop your fluency and your confidence as an English speaker, okay? Or in this case, an English speaker. Uh, Besides English, we have here is two groups for a lot of languages like Spanish, French, Italian, German, and Mandarin, I guess. So we have a lot of languages, and you can see that on the Talk and Talk website, okay? And yeah, that's the point about the platform. So let's start with the question number one. Do you like watching movies or reading books in your free time? I'll start with you, Glenna. What do you think?
I prefer watching movies like right now. I used to like to read books when I was younger, but now I'm always tired, so I like to play my TV, a movie, and just lay on my bed and watch this movie. So I guess I prefer watching movies.
Nice, pretty great. And how about you, Glenn? What do you think?
I prefer reading books, but I have a problem because when I am reading a book, I get addicted on the book, and I stop to do of my things. I want only read. So I try reading a book, not in my free time, but when I have a holiday, for example, or during the vacation, or when I can find a short book. So I can read in 2 days, for example, in the weekend, and I can doing my tasks. But now I am trying to read in English, and it's better because I can read fast, so I can read only few pages per day. So now for example, I start read a book the last week, and now I read only 20% of the book. So it's it's for me this is a new thing because when I start read a book, maybe I take only 2 or 3 days to finish the book because I can't stop. Uh, but sometimes it's a problem.
That's a nice point. When you usually read a book, for example, do you think it's different reading that in English and in Portuguese, and the way that you keep going reading that, it's like the same in your opinion?
I think yes, but sometimes I am worried about the words. I can understand the situation, but there are some words that I don't understand. So I am worried. I try to guess and I take more time to read, but sometimes the I am in the some parts of the history so exciting and I don't care about the words. I keep the reading. um but now I think my English is a little bit better, so it's easy read now. because I started to read the book in English, only book that I read in Portuguese. So I knew the story, but now it's a new book, and for me, I can enjoy in the same way, but I take more time to read. So this is the difference for me.
Yeah, that's a good point because the last time that I read a book in English, I hadn't the level of English and the the knowledge about English that I have now, you know. So it was difficult to get on the flow reading the book. Uh, and when I read in Portuguese, well, definitely it's more easy. So it's easier. So I think it's better to get on the flow of the book. And but yeah, I think it depends a lot of the kind of the book. For example, when I read the Agatha Christie book, Assassinato do Expresso do Oriente, I think. Well, it's a nice book and it's kind of a movie that you are reading. So it's nice to get this flow when you are reading, and it's easy to read. But I read that in Portuguese. I think it would be nice if I start to read books in English, for example, in this way, because it's easy to understand, I guess, and it's easy to not less the not like stop to reading, you know. If you read a lot of technical books, for example, and with a complicated English, I think it's worse when you read that. So in this point, I think it's different, I guess, but I definitely need to build this habit of reading at all in Portuguese and English. I I want to improve my habit of reading, but it would be nice if I do that in English. I think it's nice to improve our vocabulary and a lot of things in English when you're reading. But yeah, I read a lot of English in my profession, so I need to read a lot of documentation, for example, in English. So I think a little bit tired to read a entire book in English. So it's difficult for me right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I
we
have
are
a
need
tip
to
for
keep
you.
going. Yeah, go ahead.
When
Okay,
I
let's proceed.
try to choose a book in English, I read
Yeah,
the synopsis. I don't know if it's the same word.
yeah. Introduction
And
about the.
yeah, if I could understand the
Mm,
synopsis,
uh-huh.
I will understand the book. If I can't understand the synopsis, I don't choose this book. For me, it until now it's work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Nice.
I if because I think they use the same level to write the introduction and the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like
Nice. That
the Agatha Christie, I have another suggestion for you. It's The Housemaid, the book called The Housemaid. In Portuguese
nice.
is A Empregada. In English is The Housemaid.
Nice.
I think they have
Nice.
a good level, but you speak very well, so I think you can read in English.
Thank you so much. I think it's a nice tip. I think it's interesting when you read the introduction and maybe if you understand all these points, maybe you will understand the points of the book. And well, we don't need to understand 100% of the book, definitely. So we can, it's idea to improve vocabulary. So it's nice to search about that also. But it's nice if I think if you don't understood the introduction, you can read the book. And yeah, I love Agatha Christie. I just read this specific book, but it was nice and a lot of people speak well about that about her. So yeah, I will take a note of this book you mentioned, and I will read that. But how about you, Glenn? Do you usually read books in English, for example? How is this experience for you?
I used to read books in English. It was like a great experience because you have like your brain and you have to like translate. So yeah, nowadays I especially don't read books like in English or Portuguese because I read a lot in my work, so I'm always tired to read books. But when I used to, I used to read in English, and it was always a challenge because of that. It's a great experience. I totally recommend.
Really great, really great. I think my internet is not so good, but because it's freezing for me. But if you can understand me, let me know, okay? And I maybe I will put off the turn off the camera and it will be better. But okay, let's go to the question number two. Which do you prefer, playing sports or watching them? You start with you, Milene. What do you think?
I don't know. I think anyone. No, depends of the sports. Depends. I watch only important match, for example, when is the final, maybe. But I'm not playing sports too. I do some exercise, but I like to sports like run and swimming that I can do by myself. Uh, but watching, I watching only important and only soccer, maybe. I don't think I watch another sport.
So you don't like to play sports in group, for example. You prefer to do
Yes,
that alone. Alone.
yes, yes.
Okay.
I like run.
Um, and how about you, Glenn? I'm sorry. So it's freezing. Can you hear me?
Yes, now
Can you
you
hear me
are.
now?
Yes, but it's
I'm
not
sorry. I'm
good.
sorry. Yeah, I think it's freezing a lot. It's my internet, but I will turn off the camera in just a second. But go ahead. I interrupt you.
No, I was talking about I like to
So
run
now it's better.
and yes, yes.
Okay. So
But I know sometimes there are people they like to run with other. I don't like. I like run
yeah.
alone.
That's nice because I like to run. Actually, I'm trying to create a habit to run like 3 days a week, for example. But I don't know. I think I prefer to run alone. I think it's nice. But for example, I went to a competition, not a definitely specific competition, but a competition of run, and I went with my father, and well, it was nice to run with other on the competition, and like to I don't know, like to have another to stay with you when you are
Mhm.
when you are running. So I think it's nice to do that. But actually, in a specific point about, for example, a group of running, I don't know if I would I uh how can I say that? I would like that, I think it's a lot of people running together. So I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 people, it's nice, but a lot of people, like a group of people running, I don't like that at all. So yeah, in some level I understand you. It's nice to run alone, for example. So okay, and how about you, Glenda? What do you think about that?
It seems like we are sharing the same internet connection because my internet here is like
Yeah.
awful, but I'm trying to listen to you guys. So about the question number two, I'm not a sports person too, but between playing sports or watching them, I guess I would say that I prefer playing sports. Like if you call me for a volleyball, like 101 for initiates, I would go. But watching like a soccer play, I don't think I would stay like the 90 minutes watching. Sometimes I usually stay with my boyfriend. He's like watching the soccer player or whatever, and I just lay on his side and I sleep. So I'm not a watching sports person.
That's a nice point because my girlfriend does the same. All the time when I'm watching soccer match, for example, they stay like, I don't know, 5 minutes watching the game, and after that they are just sleeping. So I really understand you. And general way, I think I prefer to play sports as well. But I think of the sport, because for example, I like to run. But I'm not I don't like to watching repetition, for example. I like to play soccer, and I also like to watch a soccer game, a soccer match. But if I'm talking about preference, I think in the most case I prefer to play the sports. Uh, yeah, in the most case, I think so. But yeah, there are sports that I'm not able to do that, so I really prefer to watch. But in a general way, I really prefer to sports and don't just to watch the that on television, for example. But okay, let's go to the question number three. Would you rather go for a hike or relax at the beach? What do you think, Glenda? I'll start with you.
I am 100% relaxed at the beach because I'm not a sports person. I'm not a exercise person. I try to because I know it's good for me, but of course, choosing between going for a hike or relaxing at the beach, of course, I am 100% relaxing at the beach. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, I think it's a unfair competition between hike and relax at the beach. So yeah, I understand you. I understand you. Relax. I think it frozen. Maybe
Yes,
it's my
yes.
internet.
No, but I think
Hello.
I think it's my time.
It's
I
freezing out.
uh,
Yeah, my internet is so bad. I think now I'm back. Can you hear me?
yes, yes. I can.
Yeah, it's
No,
pretty bad, my internet. I'm so sorry, but go ahead,
no
please.
worries. No, for me it's easy because I would choose a hike. Because for me,
Nice.
stay on the beach is not relaxing because I don't like the hot, I don't like the sand, I don't like the salt. So I, I like go to the beach, but not stay on the beach. I like the place. I like the the I forgot the word. It's lane something with lane. The visual, but I don't like
The
stay
landscape,
on,
I guess.
yes, landscape. I don't like the beach because I have problem with sweat. I have inch of my sweat, so for me it's very bad when I am feeling melted like on the beach. Maybe if I go to the beach on the night, it's okay. I can. But during the day, in a hot day, for me, it's impossible. The last time I went to the beach, my body it was so red of the because of the heat. So for me, I choose a hike, of course.
Pretty great. Actually, we are totally different, but I understand you because a lot of people complain about that, about, I don't know, they like hate the sand, for example, and the sun, and don't like to stay in the hot place, for example. So yeah, I understand you. If I'm at the beach, I like to stay on a hot place. But for example, if I'm in home and I'm working, for example, do that in warm weather, for example, a hot place, it's worse. It's bad. But if I'm at the beach, it's nice. I think it's nice. But I understand you. The point of all the sand and they're sandy forever, and the sun, and you, if you don't use I really don't know how to say protetor solar, but the to use that, I think it's you get so I don't know how to say this, but queimado, and it's complicated, and yeah, there are all these points, but yeah, I prefer to do that, but I understand you. Um Okay, so let's go to the question number four. Do you like spending time alone or with friends or both? I don't know if you prefer that. I'll start with you, Mileni. What do you think?
I think for me, both. Sometimes I need a time alone, but sometimes I need a time with friends to talk, to enjoy the moment. But for me, both are important for my life. And sometimes depends of the day because there are some weekend, for example, and I enjoy stay alone with my thought, with my book, for example. I like.
Yeah, I really understand you because I have these moments. I like to stay with friends, with my girlfriend, for example. But it's nice to have a moment alone, just to thinking, and I don't know, maybe you are like angry, and you just you just want to talk. So it's nice to stay calm in your place with mine, I think. So I really prefer both. And yeah, I think we have time for both, and it's important. It's nice to do that, I guess. What about you? What do you think?
I guess I agree with you guys. It depends on the day. There are days that I like to be by myself. There are days that I like to be like with my friends, with my boyfriend. So I guess it depends on the day. I usually am a person that I like to be in company of other people. But yeah, I guess everybody has those days that they like to be like on their bedroom, like Melanie said, uh, reading their book. So I guess that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, totally agree. So let's go to the question number 5. Would you rather do on the weekend, go out for dinner or cook at home? I'll start with you, Glenda. What do you think?
I guess the same answer as the last question. It depends on the day. There are days that I like to be a chef and I want to cook like lasagnas, gnocchi, a lot of things. And there are days that I just want to eat a food made by someone else, like uh, you I forgot the word, but you put on iFood and buy your own food. So I guess it depends on the day.
Nice, nice. And how about you, Milan? What do you think?
For me, it's the same, but sometimes the problem cook at home is a lot of dish to wash, and this is the worst part of
Yeah.
the cook at home because I enjoy spend the time cooking a new recipe, but when I look at the pia, I have no idea the name. Sink,
I
pia,
think
não
it's
lembro.
simple. I
Sink.
think so. I think so.
And there are a lot of dishes to wash. It's it's the worst part, but it's it's faz parte, né?
Yeah, exactly. I really understand you because I like usually to cook and do some things different, for example, and cook a nice food. But I hate what wash the dishes. I really hate what wash the dishes. So when I think that I have to cook, for example, and I remember that I will do the dishes after that, I just to think about to, for example, to use iFood or this in this way, or go to a restaurant, for example, go out for dinner. So usually I prefer go out for dinner, but unfortunately I can do that all the time, so I need to cook at home. But if I would have all the money that I need to do that, I think I will go out for dinner. I would go out for dinner. But so I think it's nice to have a moment to cook and do something by yourself. So I think it's nice. I think it's a blend, I guess. Yeah, I think we need to do both maybe. But okay, let's go to the question number 6. Uh, do you actually, I don't know what is this phrase on the beginning of the question, but do you prefer traveling to cities or natural destinations? What do you think, Glenn?
I'm sorry. Are we on the 8?
6.
Question
My
number
internet's not is
6.
not good. 6. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you prefer traveling
Uh,
to cities or natural destinations?
okay. Mm, I don't know. Maybe traveling to cities because sometimes you have like a lot of things to do, places to visit. I guess in nature destinations also, but yeah, I guess I'm more a city person.
Nice. And how about you, Milan?
I like of cities with nature
Yeah, it's nice.
because I'm not a person like all only see building, and I'm not the person who loves nature too. I like a mix of cities and nature. I think it's a good, and I here in where I live in Campinas, I have the city, I have the nature too. I have a place to run, to walking nearby nature. It's good. And it's near to go to do some trilha. I can find this place too. So I like the mix.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think I prefer to have a balance between that. So I like cities. We have a lot of things to do on the cities, but I think it's nice to have actually a nature destination. So to have this contact with nature and breathing fresh air, So I think it's nice. But the extremist points I don't like. For example, I don't like to go to a extremely population city, so a huge city. I don't like to do that, to travel into a city like that. And I don't like to do for uh 100 nature destination. So I think that balance, this middle, it's better. So I think it's nice to do that in my opinion. Sure. But yeah, it's just a personal opinion. But okay, let's go to question number 7. And I think it's nice because in this point we can understand the people in a specific way. So, would you rather have a quiet evening at home or go out to a party? I start with you, Mileni, you think?
I'm old, so I prefer a quiet evening at home because party for me it's impossible. The last party that I went it was a wedding because I was obligated to go. But for me, I don't like party anymore.
Yeah. Uh, and how about you, Glenn?
I would say that I prefer staying at home, having a quiet evening, but it depends on the party because if we think like birthdays, like family or friends' birthdays, I guess that's a party and sometimes it's good, right? So yeah, it depends on the event, but yes, I would say that I prefer staying at home.
Yeah, I think I agree with you both. Actually, Milen said I think I'm an old person, so I don't like to go out uh for a party, for example, or to do that. The mainly points I prefer to stay at home. But I think it's nice when we have like it's not a specific party, but a family reunion, for example, for a barbecue or this kind of point. I think it's maybe like a party, and I think it's nice. I like that. But in this point of go out to a party, like I don't know, I really don't know how to say that, a balada or this kind of point. I totally prefer to stay at home. Totally prefer to stay at home and sleep early and stay like eating something and watching a movie or that. So I prefer to. But let's to the question number 8. Do you prefer listening to music or podcasts during your work, or when you are to your work, for example, to your job, or I don't know, when you are doing something repetitive thing and you are listening to music or a podcast, for example, what do you prefer? Which do you prefer? What do you think, Glenda? I'll start with you.
I prefer listening to music because I'm not a podcast person. I try to, but I always, when I like, always when I put a podcast, I start doing like a lot of other things and I don't concentrate on the podcast. So I'm not a podcast person, but I like to listen to musics. Uh, because I don't really have to think about the music. I just like play, I relax, or I do my activities, and that's it. So I guess listen to music.
Nice. I think that's the same with me. I totally prefer to listen music, and I in some time I like to listen podcast, for example, when I don't know, when I was cleaning the house, but it's hard to concentrate when you are doing that, and at the same time you are listening podcast and all the information. So I really prefer um, to listen music and do a repetitive thing like do the dishes that I hate. So it's nicer when you do that, listen music. When I clean the house, for example. So I I really prefer that. And how about you, Millennium? What do you think?
I totally agree with you. I I wish I could prefer listen podcasts, but I can't pay attention like Glenda. I think a lot of things, but I can't pay attention. And I think listen music is easy because you don't need pay attention on the music, only listen. But I would like to listen podcasts to practice my listening English, for example. But I can't. I try, but I can't.
Exactly the point. I totally agree with you. I think I have a difficult to pay attention on the information. So when I'm like listening to podcast, I need to concentrate a lot and like taking notes and all these things, you know. So I think it's pretty complicated to do this multitask thing when I'm doing some other points. So yeah, I totally agree with you. So I think we have time for one more question, and the other people are coming to the main room. So let's go to question number 11. Let me jump to question number 11. Would you rather learn a new skill or improve one you already have? What do you think, Milena? I'll start with you.
Sorry, I didn't listen. What is the question?
This is question number 11. Would you rather learn a new skill or improve one you already have?
Improve one. I already have like speaking English. um, I am trying to speak, so I prefer improve my English than learn another language. For example, I I think if you try to learn more than one language, you are so smart because for me it's impossible. I don't remember someone here told to are doing like three languages. So for me it's impossible. English it's enough. Portuguese would be enough if everyone speak Portuguese, but it's impossible. So I am obligated to learn English. But now I enjoy to study English now because when I start it was a problem.
Yeah, I totally understand you. I think for me it's different because I think when I'm doing a task or I'm doing a skill, I'm develop a skill. I think it seems like boring when I do that for a lot of time, you know. So I really prefer to uh I don't know, I like this feeling of starting a new thing, I guess. It's complicated in some levels, but yeah, for example, I would like to start learning Italian, in this case, that develop my English skills, for example. But I can do that. I'm obligated to get better in English, so I unfortunately doing that. But what about you, Glenda? What do you think?
I guess I'd rather learn a new skill because I agree with you. I guess learning like a new thing always gets me excited too. So, yeah, I guess that's my answer.
Great. So we have time 2 minutes left, and uh, welcome Mari and Leticia to the main room. How was the conversation on the breakout room? I start with you, Mari. What did you think?
I like so much. Drop my connection. Thank you for inviting my inviting you.
No problem.
I like so much these subjects are very different. I like so much learning, improving my English about these questions 11. And I like so much in my free time. I read a book so much, 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 and I like it. Cook in my home. I have a different. I live in different point for my life, and the subjects are very interesting. So different subjects about the spend the time alone and with my friends, and I like so much this subject. Well, thank you so much. It's a very very good this conversation for my friends Leticia and the Cowboy. Camila, go out.
Okay, amazing, amazing. And how about you, Leticia? What did you think?
Yes, I enjoyed very much. Mary was very I don't know how I can say it, but simpática, and the
Thank you so
conversation
much.
was so good. You're welcome.
So pretty great. So guys, we have no time for other questions, and we have our meeting on right now. So have sent the link of the survey here on the chat. As you know, you can say what did you think about the immersion and suggest other topics, for example, or say something that you want to say. And I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I thank you for coming, and I hope you come on the other immersions. Okay. So thank you and bye
Thank
bye.
you so much.